Heim Bloom stinks. Change my mind. Whoops. That's your other podcast.
Hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all ages, the Dork Shared Universe and Geeks Worldwide Radio proudly presents to you the greatest podcast team in the world. He's Fry Guy Nick Friar. I'm the Bad Cracker Dr. Joe. Together we are the TLDR podcast, baby. How's it going, Nicholas?
I think that was even better than last week because I think there were some slight changes. That is, I'll tell you what, dude, 2 for 2 right out the gates. I love to see that. I am very impressed. Well done, sir.
Fired
I'm
up.
great. I'm obviously in parts unknown because usually everybody's used to seeing either a green screen background or my clocks. But I'm not at my normal residence at the moment. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to bring an amazing show today. And for those who are catching us over on Doc's Twitch stream, on YouTube, maybe on Twitter, make sure you go and find us in our audio channel as well, especially if you prefer listening to podcasts in audio form. Available on Apple, Geeks Worldwide Radio, which is SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, all the major podcast platforms. And if you listen to some obscure one, hit us up on Twitter or Instagram at TLDR. Is it underscore pod, Joe? Or is there no underscore? I forget.
I should know this off the top of my head. Is it on here?
I forget.
Is it on here? On the scroll here, maybe?
Oh, yeah, it is on the scroll there. Look at that. Yep, TLDR underscore pod. So hit us up there and let us know, and we'll make sure we get on whatever obscure podcast platform that you listen to. But maybe just get into the 21st century is 2022 and just listen to the normal stuff. Anyways, Joe, it is time for us to catch up on what we've been reading. I know I have a lengthy list, but what do you got for me?
Just a couple, because there was a lot from Image this week that we're going to be touching upon. But I caught up on Jock's finale of One Dark Night, number 3. That was an excellent story. I had to do a bit of refresher because it had been so long since issue 2 came out. But as far as Batman stories goes, that's a nice, short, tight little story. It's only 3 issues, so it's not really TLDR worthy, but it's Jock. The art's great. The storytelling, it's a great story that he tells. Hell of a finish, absolute hell of a finish. So I recommend picking that up when it becomes a collected edition. Usagi Yojimbo, number 29, a little bit of a hiatus there. I'm glad that's back. Enjoyed it very much.
Yeah.
And then one I wanted to touch upon real quickly here is I caught up because I read the first issue, absolutely loved it, and I caught up on issues 2 and 3 of I Hate This Place, or as the variant covers that I buy say, fuck this place.
Yep.
This book is absolutely fantastic. I mean, we're both reading it, so I figured this was a good place to talk about it because we won't be doing a solo episode on it, or issue on it, I should say. But this is great because this is a really good, indie horror story where, man, nobody is fucking safe. And it's vicious, and someone's dying every issue so far, and it ain't pretty.
No,
but the premise of the story, which is 2 women, one of which inherits a family's farmhouse. They get there, and there's like a fucking safe room that they find. They watch a videotape that was left for them. Basically, tell them sorry, but you're now stuck here for the rest of your life. Don't ever go into the woods. You can never leave this place. They will find you, lock the doors at night, and they're trying everything they can to rid themselves of this place so far in these first 3 issues. And it has just been an excellent horror book. Love the art. It's gritty. It gives a great horror vibe to it. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, the creators on this team, Kyle Starks is the writer, and then Artyom Topolin is the artist on this one, and the colors too. Lee Luthridge, a name we see thrown around quite a bit, especially I think at AWA quite a bit.
Yeah, he does a lot of colors at AWA. Yeah,
and I'll tell you what, this stuff is. This issue is. This might be the nastiest one because a lot of the stuff that we get towards the end, but then that last issue too. The last
bite on that dude's neck.
So gross. And then we get a splash at the end of it, and it's just like, oh shit. Like this is one thing like we've been kind of hearing about, but don't know this is a whole lot about. And then you know enough though to be like, oh fuck, this is not good. This situation got infinitely worse, and it was already an awful situation.
It's a horror book with a lot of stakes. Every issue. Absolutely love it. It's full throttle.
It would be a TLDR book if we weren't both reading it right out of the gates. But them's the breaks. It happens sometimes. But that's everything for you for catching up, right?
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. Now I also read I Hate This Place issue 3 last week, of course, talking about a little bit there. That a little behind on that one, but still we've caught up. Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers. I have been behind on these. I've almost completely caught up. I think I just am behind for what's coming out this week, and that's Mighty Morphin 22. So I had to read about 3 issues of Mighty Morphin, a couple issues of Power Rangers. Really enjoying what they're doing with it right now. It was a little bit, I was thrown off a little bit when it came to the art change on Mighty Morphin. And obviously there was a writer change too because Ryan Parrott is just doing Power Rangers, but it's been good over on Mighty Morphin. Power Rangers, I would say, has been even better. And obviously Parrott's staying over there, so I've been really obviously enjoy his work immensely. And then one book I know you wanted to talk about last week, but somehow I didn't have time to fit it in, which is bizarre just how fast this book moves, is A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance, issue 10. And yeah,
It made the last issue make a whole lot of sense because you're like, what, how, why, what, and then all
yep.
of a sudden you're like, oh, those bastards.
Yep, those
Oh,
bastards. But then also, like, wait a minute, this is like that happened. Like you talk about stakes, and it's like
yeah,
shit. I mean, they're pretty high in this series, but wow,
yeah.
didn't see that coming at all. Nope.
Remender is absolutely killing it with this book. It's the most. I might make a separate category for when we get to the annual,
Hmm.
just like for most fascinating book. With the contenders, with this being it, this being the winner, because this is one of those books where it's just like some issues. There's just we've talked about. There's just no dialogue, and you literally you go cover to cover in 5 minutes,
Yeah.
but you're absolutely like pulled in, right?
Yep.
And then there's issues like this, and there was a series of issues where the violence really got cranked, to an 11. So this has just been one of the most fascinating books I think I've ever read in terms of like just what the fuckness.
Yeah, and this is of course drawn by Andre Lima Arujo, and I'll tell you what, like between this and I Hate This Place, these are the kind of like these are two books that are 1,000% TLDR worthy. I know Right Search for Vengeance would be kind of an odd one to do just because of it's more like it's all about the plot more so than like in depth stuff. But these are the kind of books where I'm like, we need to figure out a way to do like do something separate from our normal mold. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just thought of something quick, and we can talk about this later, but it's part of the annual. Maybe we each come up with like 4 books each that we didn't talk about on this show, or we come up with a consensus list of 5 or 10 books that
Mm.
we didn't talk about on the show because we both read them, and give them quick little hits, or maybe that's a separate show altogether.
I think it's a separate one altogether,
Yeah,
and we could do
a
that as
separate
like
show.
a holiday season sort of thing, or we could do that. Yeah, maybe something we do
Yeah,
every once in a while. Yeah, we'll figure something out
a
on that.
consensus top 10 books of the year that we
Mm.
didn't talk about on this show. Maybe we do that leading up to the annual or something
Yeah.
like that, right?
Yep.
And that way we can spend a couple of minutes on each book. Yeah, doing that around the holiday season because a lot of these will probably be in collected trades by then, right?
Hmm. Yep.
So like a gift guide kind of thing or something like that. We'll figure it
Yep.
out.
Yep. We'll figure something out. The toughest part in the end, though, just so everybody knows, will be figuring out how we want to label the episode because we compendiums and all that kind of stuff and annuals. We try and keep a theme, but
One shot.
it's not always as easy. It could be one shot, but we're not going to do it just once. Like it'd be a one shot annual. Like it doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it
we'll
out.
figure it out. Obviously, we're doing our solicitation episode too, and let's actually, you ready to get that one started? Actually,
Yeah, yeah. So one quick thing about
mm,
this month that I noticed going through it all is that not real big on the number ones. There's
mm,
some number ones we're definitely looking forward to, and there are some but you like Marvel, for example, DC, uh, like not a ton. I'm really interested in. So
I agree.
let's start with week 1 here,
Yep,
Nicholas, and
yep,
I'll take the show here.
of course.
With Marvel here. So week 1. So this week, August 3rd, 2022, we have Moon Knight 14, Immortal X-Men number 5, X-Men Red number 5, Ghost Rider number 5, Iron Man 22, Legion of X number 4, New Fantastic Four number 3, Spider Punk number 4,
Mm.
Spider Man 2099 Exodus number 5, X Men 92 House of XC2 number 3. There's going to be a point in today's solicit, Nicholas, where I just lose my goddamn mind because I'm sick of the length of some of these fucking titles. Star Wars, The Holocron Legacy #5, Mech Strike, Monster Hunters #2, and then we have a few #1s here, which I'll just rattle off real quick because neither of them really seem to be ones that we're all too interested in. So we have Demon Wars, The Iron Samurai #1, written by Peach Momoko and Zach Davison, with art by Peach Momoko. Another thing I've noticed a lot this month is that there's a lot of anthology type books coming out where like there's like 4, 5, 6 writers. So there's a bunch of books that are extra long with a bunch of stories, and which kind of drove me nuts because I just want to keep these things nice and tight.
Oh, you mean we do our solicits? Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then the other #1 from Marvel this week is Edge of Spider-Verse #1, written by Various, art by Various, because I didn't want to type out 1,000 different artists and 1,000 different writers. But this is the leading edge of the Spider-Verse brought you Spider-Gwen and Penny Parker. The final edge will introduce to you some of the most important characters in the future of the Spider-Verse, but it will also slice the final stand of the web. So it's just a lot going on in this issue that I don't particularly care about.
It's got Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Rex, though, for those who are interested in those.
There's the covers for some of the variant covers for this book, though, are dope as shit. I will give it that.
So DC, though, definitely a better first week of August. Obviously, that's what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
We got Batman 126. I know we want to get to that in a little bit. Of course, written by our pal Chip Zdarsky. But Dark Crisis issue 3. DC
this one. I refuse to fucking write Dark Crisis on Infinite whatever. Infinite Crisis, whatever they changed the fucking name to, right?
Oh,
I
refuse.
That's right. It's just fucking dark. I'm sick of the fucking Final Crisis, Infinite Crisis, Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths.
That's what it is now. Yeah.
Fuck it. I just wrote. So you'll notice I just wrote Dark Crisis. So I wasn't writing all that goddamn shit on every fucking time.
Right. Of course. I forgot about that change, but yeah, that's right.
I digress.
It's okay. We got DC versus Vampires #8, Flashpoint Beyond #4, and Poison Ivy #3. I'm planning to do Poison Ivy on the show after the first 2 issues. We'll see how the third one is. Then we got Batman Killing Time #6, Harley Quinn 18, Batman Beyond Neo Year #5, Aquaman Andromeda #2, Multiversity Teen Justice #3. We do have quite a few #1s, Joe, but why don't you tell me a little bit about how Chip's second issue on Batman went?
It is so good, man. I mean, the first issue was great because I don't know if you've read it or not, but the first issue right out of the chute, right? He was taking on Penguin. It's been out a month now, so I'm gonna
no, you George. I read it. I started reading it before one of the shows, and then I didn't finish it, and then I never went back to it. So
I'm gonna spoil some shit here from the last episode. But he's dealing with the Penguin, and the Penguin is actually fairly maniacal in this issue, and he kind of attempts to outsmart Batman, and he almost kind of does, but Penguin meets his maker, which was a hell of a way to kick off your debut, run on Batman. But the seeds get planted in the first panel of the first page, in the last panel of the last page of the last Batman book, where something's going on in the Batcave, and you don't know what the hell's going on, and it is the entire premise for this issue. And what I said with Batman 125 was that we've seen Chip take on Batman with what's the other Batman book he's writing right now? It's The Night, right? And we're seeing sort of Bruce Wayne, morphing into Batman. And we're seeing a flawed Bruce Wayne and how he sort of works his way up and he finds his way and how he inevitably becomes the Batman that we all know and love. What we get in this is we're getting a Batman who he's starting to lose a step, and he gets knocked around a bit. And it is awesome, and you get the entire Bat family in here, and the character in which he is going up against is a very formidable foe, and he kicking the shit out of everyone, and it is awesome. The artwork in here, Jorge Jimenez's art has been fantastic. Chip storytelling, it's been great. So again, if you haven't been reading, the Batman run, whether it be King into Tynan into Williamson, you could pick this up, get going. It's absolutely fantastic.
I'll tell you what. Have you seen the? Have you started watching the Harley Quinn show yet? I
I
forget.
haven't watched season 3 yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm through the first 2 seasons, but I haven't
So
watched 3 yet.
there's a thing. I'm not. It's this is not too spoilery, but like when you get to the third episode, there's a thing. There's a thing that happens that you saying like Batman getting kicked around a little bit. It made me think of that moment. So when you watch episode 3, text me, let me
Okay.
know because it's just yeah. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I know it's pretty vague, but
Dr.
yeah.
Psycho might be my favorite character on that show, by the way. Him and Croc. I mean, not Croc,
You
Clayface.
mean oh,
Fucking love
Clayface.
those 2.
What
Yeah.
about Bane? 'Cause I know Billy loves Bane.
Bane is great, but there's just something about like those 2 just bickering like an old couple. It's
Well,
fantastic.
I think Psycho's out of the picture now, after last season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're right, but
And
he's
then
been one of my favorites
okay, he's not even in the first 3
because I
episodes, but
because I've started rewatching from the beginning again.
okay. He is great. I mean, I love the whole team in general. Clayface actually used to piss me off quite a bit, but he's starting to grow on me. But yeah, I mean, like it's also like he's kind of supposed. I can see how he's supposed to piss you off, but what they do with Bane in these first 3 episodes, outstanding. Love
Oh,
what they're doing with
excellent choice.
Ivy. I love
Yeah,
Ivy.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, it's but yeah, so awesome stuff on Batman. Speaking of which, we obviously got the first issue of a little spin-off in the Murphyverse that we've been waiting on for a while, myself especially. Batman White Knight presents Red Hood issue 1, of course, written by Sean Murphy with his co-writer Clay McCormack, and then the artist on this was Simone DeMeo. Bruce Wayne is Batman, 4 words that saved Jason Todd's life and destroyed his future forever. Banished by his mentor and damaged by the Joker, the former Robin is left to become something different, something stronger, a relentless force for justice in the city. Red Hood. So I'm not going to go further on the synopsis. Did you read this?
I did. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I didn't think it was. I wouldn't say it was like knock your socks off. Like
No,
fantastic.
it's not like well to me. Okay, it's not. I'm not give. I give it like an 8.5.
Yep, that's exactly
Right,
where I'm at. Eight and a
right.
half. Yep.
Because what I love about the Murphy verse is just the subtle tweaks to the origin story.
Yep.
Right. So this isn't Red Hood. This isn't canon Red Hood. Right.
Mm.
This is. I
No.
loved. I loved the fact that it started at Bruce Wayne is Batman, and you see that and that idea that he's been shunned and outcast, and I just thought the whole story was very interesting. I enjoyed this take, Murphy's take on Red Hood, although it seems different from what we are getting in um, Batman, the White Knight, the main
Sure. Yep. The main,
what the
yes, Beyond the White Knight.
yes, thank you, Beyond the White Knight, the
Mhm.
Batman Beyond.
Yeah,
It's two different things there.
100%. Well, now we're
Yeah,
looking at this character's history a little bit, and then obviously the relationship with this Robin that has kind of popped up out of nowhere. But yeah, there are some really staunch differences when you look at what Murphy has done with Red Hood, especially in the White Knight universe. And one of the big reasons is like someone's gone in this universe, like they're gone. So as much as Batman did think that he was dead up until like I'm pretty sure I don't know if it was Curse or if it was the original Batman White Knight, but he thought actually I think it was the original one he didn't know at that point. But
yeah,
anyways, he found out in the course of this series. So yeah, I think that's very interesting. And I love the interaction between him and Dick Grayson too. Like he
yeah,
has like Dick Grayson has no clue who he is. Like
yeah,
it's because as far as the Bat family is concerned, like Jason Todd, like that Robin, he's gone. He's
yeah,
dead. So yeah, it
yeah.
was yeah, I really enjoyed his interaction with
And I like the
Nightwing.
new character they introduced. I
Yeah,
thought she was pretty cool.
yeah,
So
she was
I
good.
enjoyed this very much.
Yep. So a solid start to this, and we're going to get
Solid
more
start.
of
Yeah.
this. And of course, we also got the new champion of Shazam from Josie Campbell and Evan Shander. We also got a couple Azrael titles. I was actually thrown off when we saw 2 Azrael titles in the same week. It's like seems like odd planning on DC's part, but we got Sword of Azrael by Dan Waters and Nicola. I'm going to butcher this. It says Magia, and then we got Sword of Azrael, Dark Knight of the Soul again by Dan Waters and Nicole says Magia. I guess stay consistent at least. So this is I'm interested in this show. I don't know the whole hell of a lot about it, but it's Azrael. So like I'm interested in Azrael because he was obviously in White Knight, and we've seen him obviously he's a Batman villain and sometimes ally. So I'm interested in giving this one a look, but not enough that's top of the list because there's so much from some of these other companies, including
Yeah.
Image. We want to take us through them?
Yeah. Well, so
Where to begin?
where to begin? You're not as voluminous as DC and as Marvel this week, but every one of these book fucks. Spawn 322, Twig number 4, which was excellent. I fucking love this book.
Hmm.
Little Monsters number 6 by Lemire, also fantastic issue. The Closet continues to be really good. It's one of those horror books where it's like it's slow, but if it wasn't for the imagery, maybe I'm out on this book
Hmm.
because it really is the imagery and the juxtaposition between what's happening with the little kid and what's happening with the father.
Hmm.
That dynamic really. Whew. Time Before Time 15, The Scumbag 14, Sweet Paprika number 11, That Texas Blood number 16, and then before we jump into the number ones, Nicholas,
Huh.
the end of the arc, Philadelphia 24.
I mean, it's not even a question. Like, this is by far the best arc of this series, and you can't
Oh,
always say that with every title. I know we've said it about Seven Secrets fairly recently, but we over at Boom. But there's a lot of titles that, like, I know you said it with some of them, like they kind of lose their steam, they lose direction. You get to the fourth arc, and it's like, that's definitely you're playing with fire. Philadelphia has never been better. Never
no,
been better.
no. And so at the end of the book, Rodney Barnes, writes the little letter, and he says, I've been promising you a war. Well, now war has come. This is the end of the fourth arc, and the fifth arc is, not too far along. And he talked about the Killiverse,
Mm,
and he talked about how we're going to see the Killiverse eventually come together. And he
nice.
talked about Nita Hawes Volume 2 returning and all that. So
Mm.
he's got a title or two, within the Killiverse over on Substack, but like shit's
Yeah.
getting real. It's all coming together, man. And this issue again, like this arc, the last 3 issues have been some of Alexander's best art at its most
Yeah.
vicious and gruesome.
Yeah,
Man,
I'll tell you what, there's one with the werewolves where I'm like,
yes.
"Whoa,
It's just, I
where's
think it was just
that?"
one word on the whole. It's just his power, right? Whatever. It's just
Something
it
like that,
is
yeah.
ferocious, man.
Yeah,
It
you're right, it
is
is power. Look at you.
fucking awesome. Look at me.
So good, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's been so I actually don't have a subscription to Substack, as you know. And I've thought about Rodney's is one of the ones I've thought about because was it Johnny Gatling? Is that the dude
Yeah.
from
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell who I
Yeah.
believe popped up in Nita Hawes, which we're getting more Nita Hawes this month. Very excited about that
Yeah.
return. That I might that's the one where I might pull the trigger on. There was one other one I was considering, but Rodney's, I mean, he's doing so much with Philadelphia right now. And Nita Hawes, like they've been amazing. So I kind of am thinking if I'm gonna pull the trigger, it's gonna be that one. And I'll tell you what, dude, Toussaint is my
Oh,
favorite character in Philadelphia. Period. End of discussion. Like
yeah.
no two ways about it. I loved Seesaw. Thought he was awesome. I think the stuff they're doing with George Washington has been outstanding. John Adams, his whole story arc has been, kind of wild. But Toussaint, man, that dude is a badass motherfucker. The cover for Philadelphia 24 is outstanding. It's like a
Yeah.
cover of the year worthy kind of thing for me. And look, I understand for most people, it's like, oh, you might want something a little more, I don't know, extravagant. You want all these characters on there, and that's what's going to be a cover of the year. For me, I just want something that's like screams badass or screams fucking scary. Something to that end. And in this case, we kind of get a bit of both. Like, I'm not scared of Toussaint, but like for the vampires, that dude, that image
They
right
should
there
be.
would scare the fuck out of me.
Yeah. They should
Whew,
be. Yeah. It was
whew.
excellent.
Yeah,
Absolutely excellent.
yeah.
Woo!
It's wild.
Uh,
You're so right about Station Sean Alexander, though. It's
yeah.
crazy.
It's just getting better and better and
It's
better. Like
wild. Like,
holy shit.
never would have
It's
thought like that guy could have made improvements. Like I was just like he has a style, it kicks ass, and I love it. He was awesome on Spawn too, and
yeah.
he's gotten better. Mind
Yeah.
blown.
Yeah, which you love to see.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of number ones this week. Now, I thought
Mm.
this book was coming out last month, because I feel like we mentioned this on July Solicit. Razor Blades, Small Cuts, James Tynan, Martin Simmons. It's essentially his little Razor Blades magazine. All the short stories kind of put into one volume. One collection for people to read. But there's two number ones from Image. One of which we have talked about at length. And that's The Dead Lucky, written by Melissa Flores, with art by French Carlamango. And, you can go back and you can listen to our Friar Side chat with Melissa. It was absolutely fantastic. We really dove into this book and in the I call it
Massiverse.
the Massiverse. Jesus Christ, not the multiverse.
Yeah.
That's the shit going on at Marvel. The Massiverse. And this was such a great book. If you haven't picked it up yet, if you haven't put it on your FOC, as soon as you're done listening to this, go to your local comic shop and throw it on your list, because the art is fantastic, the story is fantastic, and how where the whole Massiverse is going. Like, you should be reading all of it. So for those who haven't listened, to the interview, or just the synopsis of The Dead Lucky. San Francisco is changing. Tech consortium Morrow is building the city of the future with peacekeeper robots looming over every corner. And wherever Morrow isn't, the Salvation Gang is. Bibiana Lopez Yang is changing too. She came back from Afghanistan with PTSD and the ability to control electrical currents. If she can hold it together, she might be the hero San Francisco needs. But against an enemy this big, it isn't enough to be good. She'll have to be lucky. I mean, just chef's kiss. This book.
I cruised through this thing like it was nothing. Obviously, we read it a while back, so we got to wait even longer for the friggin' second issue. Not happy about that, but then them's the breaks. I'll tell you what, man, this character is so cool. Like that's the thing that's blown my mind away about all this Massiverse stuff is like, we obviously like Radiant Black, like Radiant Red, excited for the Radiant Pink stuff, which Melissa's going to be involved in as well. They're all cool, and there's other characters within there to shift and whatnot. But man, Rogue Sun is awesome, and then Dead Lucky too. Like, I'm looking at these characters, and I think we said it to Melissa, hoping that Kyle's going to hear it or she's going to tell Kyle. We need action figures for these characters, man.
Yeah,
they're friggin' awesome.
They have Hasbro connections at the very least.
Yeah. Yes,
right?
It's true. This is very true, man. They got some awesome shit. And I love this character. Like, BB is awesome. She has a ton of upside, and definitely, like, at the same time, a different vibe than Dylan, a much different vibe than Dylan. So a very welcome addition to the Massiverse.
And all of these characters are flawed in all different ways, which is great, because I think that's what we love. So each character wildly different from the next, but they're all connected in some way, shape, or form. So hands down.
Yep.
This other number one, which I haven't had a chance to read yet, but I'm planning on it. Golden Rage, written by Chrissy Williams, art by Lauren Knight. In a world where older women who've been deemed useless to society are abandoned on an island, Golden Rage documents their golden years of making friends, baking dessert, and fighting to the death. I'm just picturing a fucking Golden Girls Fight Club.
It's I would say it's more like, the impression I'm getting is more like gang wars with it, kind of.
Yeah.
Like that's what I read this.
Oh, you did read it. Okay.
I did read it, and I was like very interested, like off the rip, you're just like, huh? What the fuck's going on?
It just seems so fucking bizarre, man.
And it is bizarre. And by the end of it, you're still kind of like, wait, what the fuck's going on? Like, it's really all over the place, but at the same time, I did enjoy it. I'm definitely gonna look at the next issue. It looks like you're gonna get you got some action in the course of all this. You're gonna get more, but there's definitely still a lot of questions that I need answered. So it's an odd book, but like, it's scratching itches that, like, it's got me scratching itches. I'm like, okay, like, all right, I'm definitely gonna give this the second issue a read, no question about it.
Love that. Love that.
Of course, from Skybound, which prints through Image, we got Stillwater issue 14 this week. Then we move over to Boom, and so we got Magic Gathering issue 17, which I fell off on a long while back. Maybe I'll eventually hop back on that sometime. But we got Basilisk issue 10 from friend of the show, Cullen Bunn. We got Mighty Morphin 22, which I will read between now and next week, because I don't want to be behind anymore. But then, Joe, from Boom, Probably. I mean, we were talking about Philadelphia, but this might be the comic of the week. At least this at least has the ending of
It
the
is for
week.
me. It
Yep.
is for me. I mean, I think I sent you what, no less than 15 eyeball emojis.
The most eyeball emojis you've ever sent me in one like sitting, I guess, because it was three
Yeah,
separate texts.
yeah.
Nuts. Once in future
Wild.
28.
Yes, once in future 28. Um, and I think part of it too is that we now know that this book is coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
So with this issue 28, so is it issue 30, right?
Yep.
I
Yep.
think October is when it's ending.
Yep.
So like that's devastating. I was absolutely gutted because I know that you could tell from this arc where I had the feeling from this arc that they were planning on wrapping up this story soon. But I was hoping they wouldn't. I was hoping they'd find a way and keep it going, which is a stark contrast to where I felt, 15 issues ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But Kieran Gillen and Dan Mora and
Tamara Von Villain.
Tamara Bonvillain have just really just upped their games just all around. And so like it's fitting. Okay, this is where it should end. It's gonna be 30 issues. You're gonna, buy the how many collected volumes, it's gonna sit in your bookshelf and it's gonna look sexy as hell. And you're gonna pick it up and you're gonna read it every so often because it's that good. And so this issue is obviously it is setting up the final battle, right? And how this book ends was absolutely gutting.
Dude.
Absolutely gutting because you saw it coming, but you didn't think it was going to happen. And
Yeah.
and what happens, and you go, fuck,
Yep.
fuck,
Yeah.
just fuck, and man, like
Mm-hmm.
I love that and I hate it because I think I don't know if we've talked about it here. I know I've talked about it with Billy, but like Stranger Things, for example, right? Like, yeah, there were some stakes, but they were safe stakes, right? We didn't lose anyone. We lost a great character.
Oh,
We love Eddie,
the
but
goat.
it's not like we lost fucking Will or Dustin or Steve. Like okay, we lost Pop Up. Fuck that guy, and we lost Eddie. Okay, yeah, it sucks, but like the stakes haven't really been there, and so like we talk about stakes and I hate this place and now like here like fuck,
Yeah.
right?
Fuck.
That's okay. Like we always worry about who's Tom Taylor gonna axe off when he takes a hold of Nightwing.
Yep.
Thankfully, right? Not yet, at least. uh but man, it was tough. This was a tough one, and I can't wait to see how it wraps up.
Yeah, so before adding on to what you're saying about the interior stuff, the cover, Dan Moore's cover for this thing
Oh,
is like I'm looking at it right now, Joe, and I'm just thinking
I've only
this
can really put so
this
much of it on here, but
right, this guy is just gonna be like even if he gets tired of like he's never gonna have a tough time finding a job as long as
God no.
comics are a thing. Like we've known that, but it's just like he's like I'm talking he could be 80 and if he can do like 75% of this, he's going to be fine. Like he's always going to
Yeah,
have work because this is nuts. I mean, in the main cover is Nimue, Lancelot, Robin Hood. We got a dragon, and then I don't know what that other monster thing is on the bottom right hand corner. But this thing is fucking. It's just outstanding, and it's kind of
yeah,
like in some ways, it is like a simple cover. It's not like he goes and does anything fucking nuts. So like again, I talk about how I love that Philadelphia cover. This is right there with it, and I also
yeah,
love Robin Hood. Like
yeah,
like
yeah.
Moore and Gillen's Robin Hood is nuts. But yeah,
Absolutely fantastic.
the ending of this issue. I was surprised that they like I thought they were like, okay, we're teasing this for next issue. Nope, we're just gonna fucking do it now. And it's like, all right,
Bastards.
yep, it's all right, all right.
Bastards.
It's so we still got 2 issues left, so it's just a matter of maintaining those things. As much as
Yeah.
I don't want them to, like, I'm gonna respect it a lot more if they maintain them. But also like it means like anything can fucking happen at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yep.
it's chef's kiss for Once
Yep.
in Future
Yep.
28. And then we move over to Dark Horse. We got Cyberpunk 2077, Blackout issue 3. That's a mouthful. Then for first issues, we got Frankenstein New World by Mike Mignola, Christopher Golden. Tom
Snagowski.
Snigowski with art by Peter Bergting. And then we got Survival Street, which is written by James Osmus and Jim Festante with art by Able Kusanov. Okay. Nothing that interests us really. But there is something from AWA that you actually reviewed that interests me.
Yeah, this is Nicholas, there is not a book that is more up your alley and one that just gives me so much glee to call dibs on. Oh,
You what?
this
Are you
book is
shitting
so
me?
perfect for you. I
Yeah,
wrote the review for it, and you
yeah,
didn't have the time to check it out, the review, and edit it before it went live.
right,
So you have no idea what it's about. And I'm gonna
right.
call dibs, and it is so fucking sweet to
Are
make
you
you have to
shitting me?
wait for this.
What the fuck?
I
Are
wouldn't
you
do that
really
to you.
gonna do this to me?
No, I'm not gonna do that to you, Nicholas. But
Dude,
this
you
because
like
this,
okay, dude, you fucking broke my heart right there. I was like, this is like the meanest thing he's ever done to me.
this
You're gonna love this book. Fuck you. You can't read it.
this book is fantastic. So this is again, review is up on Geeks Worldwide right now, and
Goddamn roller
Sacrament,
coaster of emotions,
right?
motherfucker.
Sacrament #1 from AWA Studios, written by Peter Milligan and art by Marcelo Frusin, who I wrote in my review. I am ashamed to admit I am not familiar with his art, but I am now, and I will be going forward because the art in this book is absolutely fantastic. But
Hmm.
let's jump into the synopsis real quick. The Exorcist meets alien in this sci-fi horror story. In the year 3000, mankind abandoned Earth and fled into outer space. Now a disgraced priest called into action to perform an exorcism on a remote space colony is about to discover that no matter how far you run, you can't escape your demons. The devil is in fact real. And so this is a story that takes place obviously in a dystopian type future where religion is basically outlawed.
Hmm.
Anyone who practices religion, anyone who worships, if you get caught, they memory wipe you and put you in prison camps. And it's not great, Bob. But the
Okay.
main character, Father Vaz, he's a character who you find out certain things about his past. He's got a certain reputation, and he's another great flawed character in this book. And so as you're reading the story, it's kind of slow because it's doing a little bit of world building and a little bit of character building. That's not a knock on it, it's not taking away from it.
Right.
But then once there's a certain point and you go, oh fuck, it
Hmm.
is on, and this shit's gonna get real and it's gonna get terrifying real fast.
Hmm.
And Frusen's art is just, he uses his color palette is a lot of cool blues, various, light greens, and just it kind of creates this bleak future that you would, assume, like being void of spirituality. Like this is kind of like a world, in the color palette that you would kind of imagine. But
Ah.
then there's when you see flashes of red in this book, which signify what you think it signifies. Oh fuck, baby, it is something else. And so, like, start to finish, this is an excellent first issue because it does its job, as we always say, of hooking you in. And this just follows a long tradition of AWA books that push the envelope a little bit. That's gritty. That is definitely for an older audience. Doesn't pull any punches, and just it's an excellent first issue to what should be a very excellent series.
I'll tell you what. So when I see the name, I'm interested. When I see it from AWA, that makes me even more interested. This synopsis. I mean, again, I see it all, and I'm like, yes, I need to read this. Hearing what you have to say, though, too, I've been sold in like 5 different ways. I'm in. So like the fact that you almost called dibs on this shit, like I would have killed you.
I
Like
mean, I
it's
mean, it's up your alley on so many levels, Nick. Right? Because it's got that sort of religious, aspect to it, right? And one of the things I loved about it too was like the cover of the one of the I think it's the alternate cover, shows character sort of in an upside down cross, an upside down, he's in that sort of upside down crucifix pose, and you see that a couple of times in the book. And so, like, with the lettering, right? That symbol, that upside down cross, is used in some of the dialogue boxes to kind of give you a sense of like, who's talking. And I just thought that was such a cool touch. And so just everything about it, the story, the characters, the themes, it's this is a Nick Friar book. And if I
Wow.
had any balls, I would have called dibs on it and really would have made you wait. But I'm a good guy, Nicholas.
Well, I was
I'm a
thinking about
good guy.
that when I saw this title, and it was like, okay, again, it's title in AWA because we now have all the review copies now, so we see what's coming out week to week. I was thinking, like, this could possibly be a book I could call dibs on, but like Joe handles the AWA reviews for Geeks for Whites. Like, I can't. Like, I just want the people at AWA to know, like, if you're listening and you don't ever hear me doing a book for you guys, like, on the show, just understand, like, I can't, because the way our show works, I can't.
Go
It's just
to their website. They still have an entire catalog of books I haven't read yet. I haven't read everything they
their
have to
new
offer.
stuff. I mean, their new stuff is all I'm talking
So
about.
get on there, Nicholas. There's a whole host of books.
I was just talking to a buddy of mine, by the way, my friend that's former guy in the chair from Change Your Mind, Tim Weisberg, who's a paranormal investigator. I was trying to tell him about a Hotel and how
Oh,
like that's a must read horror for anybody that likes
yeah.
horror stuff.
He's a Usagi Yojimbo guy too, right?
He is the Usagi Yojimbo guy. Yep. I forgot to bring that up with
Yeah.
him. Yes. Great guy. If you're into supernatural stuff, go find him on Twitter at Tim Weisberg. As for the rest of this week, we got Fox and the Hare issue 2 from Vault. I did want to read that first issue just to see what the fuck it's about, but I
The
haven't gotten
covers
to
looked
that.
really great. I haven't read it
Yeah.
yet either.
Yeah. Dynamite, we got Red Seetha issue 4, which you're reading. And then from Aftershock, we got The Vineyard by Brian Hawkins and Sammy Cavella. Might give us a look, I'm not certain, but that's it for this week. We got to move into the second week of August as we really get into the solicit here. Joe, lead us off for August 10th in Marvel.
So we have the Amazing Spider-Man 7, the Avengers number 59, Axe Judgment Day number 2, Punisher number 5, Venom Lethal Protector number 5, Star Wars Bounty Hunters number 26, Black Panther number 8, Captain America Sentinel of Liberty number 3, shorten the title, Han Solo Chewbacca number 5, which I shortened, Captain Carter number 5, Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor number 3.
You should just write the titles for Marvel now.
Yeah.
For everybody. Keep it short.
Keep it short. And then we have a slew of number ones. The first one I just want to mention with a little bit of give a little bit of time to is Ghost Rider Vengeance Forever, written by a friend of the show, Benjamin Percy, with art by Juan Jose Rip. Celebrating 50 years of vengeance, Johnny Blaze, still reeling from his time in Hayden's Falls, seeks the counsel of a seer named Necro the Tattooist, who uses his needle to bring back dark truths to the surface. What follows is not only a wild tour through Ghost Rider's lost history, but also a warning about the future and an examination of the troubling weight of legacy. So, Percy's been killing Ghost Rider. That sounds fantastic. I mean, when we had him on, he talked about them doing something big for the 50th anniversary there. So that'll definitely be a must read. The remaining number ones, we have Predator number 1, written by Ed Brisson and Kev Walker. We have X-Men Legends, written by Roy Thomas and art by Dave Watcher. We have Miss Marvel and Wolverine, written by Jody Hauser, art by Z Carlos. And then we have Giant-Sized Gwen Stacy, written by Christos Gage and art by Todd Knock. And this just to be another sort of anthology sort of story. And then we have Avengers and Moon Girl, written by Muhal Mashigo, with art by Digenes Neves.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's a lot, but not a lot we care about. I will say Knock is an impressive artist. It looks like they're doing a lot of Miss Marvel stuff this month, but that Ghost Rider shit, I can't help but wonder, Joe, I didn't get to finish it before the show, but I was trying to catch up on Ghost Rider. And reading it, I'm like, I wonder if he was a non-Marvel character, non-Big Two character, like started at the same time as Spawn or something like that, if he would be a lot bigger. Because Ghost Rider is so freaking cool, man. He really is.
I just think I think, because Marvel is just, I mean, don't get me wrong, Marvel goes dark and they tell great stories, but I think like there's an image of Marvel where it's like Spider-Man, Captain America, right?
Still for kids.
Still for kids, even though they got a lot of stuff that's not for kids, but like Ghost Rider is just, he's sort of a visual arresting character
Yeah.
to look at,
Yep.
right? And so like it's hard to sell Ghost Rider to the population that they want, because they want to get readers young, and they want to pull them in, and they want to keep them there for life, as
Yep.
all these studios do. So
Yep.
he's a character that's hard to do that with.
Hmm.
That could be it.
Yeah, yeah, I think that is a very, very fair way to put it. Then we move over to DC. We got Superman, Son of Kal-El, issue 14, Harley Quinn 19, Batgirls 9, Batman Urban Legends 18, Jurassic League 4, I Am Batman 12, Future State Gotham 16, Nubia Queen of the Amazons issue 3, Naomi season 2 issue 6, and then Wonder Woman 790. As for issue ones, we have Dark Crisis, World Without a Justice League, Green Lantern, by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Jeremy Adams, with art by Nadia Shamas and Jackson Herbert. Of course, this is a Dark Crisis tie-in. And then we get the continuation of Deceased, with Deceased War of the Undead Gods, written by Tom Taylor, art by Trevor Hairsine. I read the Constantine stuff. So it was I've not read all of DC, so I've read some of it. So I'm gonna try. I got to catch up and try and get in so that I can get on top of this. Because it is some awesome stuff. They've incorporated a lot of their characters, and I think when Tom Taylor, whatever that recent bit he did with Constantine was, with like he had a Constantine title and he did DC stuff with Constantine. It was all interesting. So he got a pretty good hold on that character. And obviously Tom Taylor's going to do a ton of stuff over at DC now that he's solo DC. What about Image?
So we have King Spawn 13, 8 Billion Genies number 4, Slumber number 6, A Town Called Terror number 5,
Hmm.
Stonehenge Book 1, The Dragon and the Boar 2,
Jeez.
Unnatural Blue Blood number 2, written by Mirka and Dolfo, Prodigy, The Icarus Society number 2, and then we have two number ones. We have Love Everlasting number 1, written by Tom King with art by Elsa Chartier. And then we have The Deadliest Bouquet, written by Erica Schultz with art by Gabe Contreras and Cariola Barella. Jasmine Hawthorne was a hard-edged Nazi hunter who trained her children well in the art of espionage. But in 1998, when her complicated past finally catches up with her, it's up to her three estranged daughters, Rose, Poppy, and Violet, to solve their mother's murder. And if they can avoid killing each other in the process. So, yeah, 100% I'm going to read this. It's killing Nazis, spy stuff, murder mystery, and one of the characters named Violet.
Yes,
100%.
that's the big
100%
one.
in on this.
Yep, because
Yeah,
one of the
yeah,
characters' name is Violet. As soon as I heard that, yep, okay, that
yeah.
explains it. This sounds really good. This sounds really interesting. And we've gotten to
It
look at
does.
Love Everlasting too. Joe and I have gotten to look at the first, what, 4 or 5 issues, and it's
I think
interesting.
so, yeah.
We were hoping
Yeah,
to do something a little more expansive on the show, but it is interesting. It's also
yeah.
kind of like you're reading this series, it's like, what the fuck's going on? Like I will say, Joe, as I read it, I was thinking this is going to be a tough one for people as a monthly. I think if you release this as a graphic novel right away as a trade, then it would be a
Has to
little,
be.
yeah, but it's not
Has to
going to
be,
be.
because it took like the way the first issue ended, and then the way the second issue, it was like 3 issues in before I finally like really like, okay, now
Yeah.
I got it.
Yep.
Right. And we could read the first 5 issues, all at once. And that was a great way to do it, because by the end, I'm like, this is a really unique way to tell a story. I'm really
Mhm.
enjoying this. But if I had to wait month to month, and if there was ever a delay, I could see this as maybe being something like you kind of fall off on.
Yeah, and I know when we had Sean Lewis on a while back, he talked about like the propulsion that you get from with monthlies that you need in a single issue. With this one, it's just like the first one we don't get that. The second one we at least get it, but to have it
Yeah.
like all that be it in the second issue was kind of confusing. So
Yeah.
for the people who want to give this a shot, you're just going to have to be a little bit patient with it, because once you get to that second issue and then you finish it up, it's like, okay, this is good, and then it kind of turns up as we get into the
Yeah. Yeah.
ensuing
Yeah.
issues. So
Yep.
that's all with that one. Then we go over to Power Rangers. We got to boom. We got Power Rangers 22. Dark Horse, The Ward, issue 3. We got Mind Management, Bootleg, issue 2. I haven't read The Ward 2, but I read the first one. I did like that one. As for first issues from Dark Horse, we got another Hellboy title, Hellboy and the BPRD, 1957, Falling Sky, issue 1, with Mike Mignola and Chris Robinson. I feel like we've gotten a bunch of Falling Sky stuff. I don't know what that is, but maybe I'm wrong.
Every week there's a new Hellboy BRPD
Yeah.
1957
And
book.
I'll tell you, and that's like I've read quite a bit of Hellboy stuff, but not all of it. So like for people who've been reading it forever, I'm sure this is good. Like because it's like just like one-off stories or like 3-issue stories, and it's cool. But yeah, it's tough for the newer people. But anyways, IDW GI Joe, A Real American Hero, Best of Storm Shadow, issue 1. And then from AWA Joe, we got Absolution issue 2. Did you read Absolution 1? Because I missed it.
They didn't, Newbury Comics didn't have
Okay.
issue 1, so I bought it digitally. So I just haven't read it yet. It looks fantastic. The reviews I've seen on it are fantastic. So this is one I'm definitely looking forward to catching up on.
Okay. From Vault, we got Mindset issue 2, which you and I were both like didn't understand the hype quite as much. Like it was.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'll pick up. I mean, I said I'd pick up
will.
number 2, but I don't know if I will, to be honest with you.
I don't know if I will either. They also got Quest Aside issue 4 from Dynamite. We got 007 issue 1 by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Marco Finnegan. Aftershock Astronaut Down issue 3, which I missed second one. I did like the first one, and I called dibs on that title. So I gotta get my hands on the second issue. And then There's Something Wrong with Patrick Todd issue
which
2.
I want to read because that first one definitely piqued my interest.
Okay. And then Samurai Doggy issue 1 from Chris Tex and Santos. And then to finish up the week, we got Valiant, Archer, and Armstrong issue 4. I still got to get my hands on that. The new Shadow Man team first issue because I didn't get to go.
I got the first issue. I haven't read it yet, but I got it.
Okay, yeah. Well, I didn't because with the move and everything like that and what's going on. I didn't get time. We move over to August 17th. Joe, take it away.
All right, so light week for Marvel, at least floppy wise. Hulk number 8, X-Men 13, Daredevil number 2, Star Wars: The Mandalorian number 2, X-Men 92, House of XC, and then number 1s from Marvel, Axe: Death to Mutants, number 1, written by Kieran Gillen, art by Gula Villanova. And then we have Miss Marvel and Moon Knight number 1, written by Jody Hauser, art by Ibram Robinson. We have the Avengers 1 million BC number 1, written by Jason Aaron and Kev Walker. The Secret Origin of Thor revealed. That could be one I could be possibly interested in. X-Men Unlimited, X-Men Green number 1, written by Jerry Dugan, with art by Emilio Lasso. And then Ultraman, The Mystery of the Ultra 7 number 1.
So I'll tell you what, I was laughing at the Avengers 1 million BC title at first, but then the Secret Origin of Thor revealed. I'm interested. Like,
yeah, I'll definitely give that one a peek.
Make that the freaking title. Like, I know it's a long one, but it's better than Avengers 1 million BC. Like,
if you're gonna give it like a fucking ridiculously long name, to just call it the Avengers: The Secret Origin of Thor number 1.
Yep.
Boom.
And I'll tell you what, too. Like, kids are gonna like both of those titles. Adults are not gonna want to read Avengers 1 million BC.
No, a kid's gonna see this and see Avengers, and then they're gonna see a one with a bunch of fucking zeros, and they're gonna have to figure out what number that is in their head. Fuck that. They're gonna skip it and move on next. They see Thor in there, they're gonna grab it.
Yep.
My fucking cousin's gonna see that and he goes, no, he's just gonna fucking move on. Right?
Nope.
No one wants to do fucking math.
We move over to DC. We don't have any 1 millions in this one, but we do have Nightwing 95, Batman the Night, issue 8, Batman Superman World's Finest, issue 6, DC versus Vampires All Out War, issue 2, Black Adam, issue 3. That is a hell of a week. And then to round it all out, we have Batman One Bad Day, The Riddler, issue 1, written by Tom King, with art by Mitch Gerads. I know it's Tom King and Batman, and that gives you PTSD. But
he's right. But he's writing the Riddler. So as far as I know, Riddler doesn't have a thing for Catwoman, so it should be okay.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you should be fine. This is a part of a larger series too. Like I don't know if it's One Bad Day or it's just something with all his villains
Yeah,
that they're doing, and I'm
yeah.
excited about that because Taylor
I
has
I
one too.
yeah, I mean, that it's a great concept, so I'll definitely check that one out.
Take us through Image.
All right, Gunslinger Spawn 11, Undiscovered Country 20, Silver Coin 13. Something tells me that one's gonna be spooky as shit. Do a Power Bomb number 3. Love the book, hate the title. Bloodstained Teeth number 5, Ordinary Gods number 8, Seven Sons number 3, Nita Hawes Nightmare Blog number 7. Yes, baby. Above Snakes number 2, written by friend of the show, Sean Lewis. And then we have a couple number ones here. We have 20th Century Men number 1, written by Dennis Camp, art by S. Morian. Couldn't give me a
Yep.
first name there, Nicholas.
Nope, that's not my fault. Hey, it's really who are you to judge creators and how they want to use their pen names? You
Well, I
dick.
don't know if it's Scott or Sally. Who knows? They were,
This is
just
true. They.
um
What'd you call them? They.
they,
Easy.
yeah, they Moran. The Last Shadowhawk number 1, written by Brian Haberlin, with art by Philip Tan and Daniel Henriques. And then Nicholas, this is right up your alley. The Shirtless
Mm,
Bear Fight
mm,
2.
yeah.
Number 1. Apparently there was already a shirtless bear fight, volume 1. So now we get in volume 2. It's written by Jody Lahip and art by Nil Vendrell. Boom. We have Alice Ever After number 5. Dune, The Waters of Cantley number 4. And then from Dark Horse, we have
Mm,
Tales from Harrow County, Lost Ones number 4. And written by Cullen Bunn, and then we have another Cullen Bunn book dropping towards the end of this month.
yep.
Parasomnia, The Dreaming God, number 1. Again, written by Cullen Bunn, art by Andrea Moody. Cullen Bunn and Andrea Moody return with their hit adventure tale of two worlds split between dreams and reality as the hunt for his missing son continues. Our hero shifts worlds from the nightmarish Lovecraftian dreamscape to a cyberpunk metropolis where a rootless cult continues to plague him and the reality and fantasy continue to blur. So I got to reread Parasomnia 1. I mean, it was
Same.
trippy as hell,
Yep.
but I did enjoy it. I'm looking forward to this. And
I'm
speaking of
with you.
which, gotta reach back out to our man there.
Yes, yeah, I'm with you on that one. And I do want to say the 20th Century Men from Image. I am going to give that one a look. I am interested in that one. Not the bear fight though. I'm good on bear fights. Thank you though. Appreciate it. As for IDW, we got Usagi Yojimbo 30 coming out. Dark Spaces Wildfire issue 2, and then I have no idea how you pronounce this. True
True Kilt?
True
Uh,
Cult. I don't
True
know. It's
Cult? I
it's
don't
spelled
know.
True Cult, but the U's are V's, and then the C is a U in Cult. So I don't know. Issue 1 by Scott Bryan Wilson and Leanna Kangas. From AWA, we got New Think issue 3, and then Vault. We have Barbaric Axe to Grind issue 1. We just got a one shot from Vault recently, and it was comic of the week for me. Michael Morisi and Nathan Gooden. That's the creative team on this, and I think I'm gonna have to do, if time allows, timing I guess allows, I'm gonna do an episode on Barbaric maybe this week, that this issue comes out, because I really loved that one shot, and I am very excited coming into this. This is the start of the second arc. Follow Owen and his magical companion, the tender talking axe, as they spread kindness and hope in a world gone bad. Just kidding. Owen, Axe, and Soren are back, and so is all the mayhem and bloodshed that follows them wherever they go. This time, they're out to settle an old score against Gladius, a wicked asshole who did Owen wrong way back in his barbarian days. As always, it's just fucking barbaric. Axe is worth the price of admission. So, like, read the first arc if you haven't already. It's awesome stuff. I will talk about it on the show.
Not
The
that
first arc.
week. Not that week.
Oh, not that week. Yeah, because we got stuff. What is that week? That
New
is.
Year.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's right. Nope, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. But yeah. Well, we'll talk. We'll talk. Anyways, also from Vault that week we have Heart Eyes issue 1 by Dennis Hopeless and Victor Ibanez. Real quick, sanity-eating monsters ended humanity. The unlucky few who survived now hide in the cracks of a broken world. kind of interested in that. Especially Dennis, like last name Hopeless. It's kind of, I'm sure it's a pen name, but that's kind of a lot. Um, Anyways, we also got Dynamite Immortal Red Sonja issue 5, the first issue of Lady Hell, written by Eric Burnham and Zengis Tasabolatov. Comixology, we got Canary issue 2, one of the best comics going. Joe, you should really consider reading it.
I
Uh,
have been.
oh, you have? Yeah, yeah, funny. That one would be inexcusable. That would be like a mortal sin. Like you'd have to face like punishment on the show. Like we're talking like 40-year-old version punishment on the show. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, you
on
take
yeah,
off my plumage? That would
yep,
that would hurt.
yep. Hmm.
That would hurt.
Um,
Yeah, that would not be fun.
then from Aftershock, we got Jimmy's Little Bastards issue 1, written by Garth Ennis and art by Russell Braun. I'm just interested in this because Garth Ennis. I'm always going to give Garth Ennis stuff a shot. In this one, I'm curious, Joe, how you feel about it here in the synopsis. After the shattering events of his last adventure, Jimmy is on extended leave from British intelligence, sliding slowly into middle age with carpet slippers, tragic sweater, and a cup of cocoa to match. The former sexist super spy is even reevaluating his attitude toward women. His daughter, Nancy, is taking up the slack. Is taking up the slack in fine style, cutting a bloody swath through the Regent Rogues gallery. Any interest in that?
I mean, it's got potential. I mean, it's Ennis. It's always got potential, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm. Yes,
so I mean,
I agree.
it'll all depend on how weird or how serious he wants to take this, and it sounds like it's actually probably sounds will meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Now I do have an Ennis title. I think it's from Aftershock. It's like oversized issues that I haven't read, so I'll have to get to that one at some point. I haven't looked at any of it. I've got the first 4 issues purely on faith in Ennis. So hopefully I get rewarded for that. But let's move over to the week of the 24th, Joe.
This must be vacation week for the people over at Marvel. We have Darth Vader, 26, Captain America, Symbol of Truth, number 4, and Wolverine Patch, number 5.
I will say, in their defense, just so you're aware, before you get into the first issues, I only write down when my part of the solicit, generally speaking, I only write down the titles that we somewhat give a shit about, either really give a shit about or kind of give a shit about, at least.
Well, Nicholas, people that are listening to the show are going to run the gamut from all age ranges and all different, genres
Mm.
that they like, right? We can't be too picky and too choosy and too snobby. We gotta, you gotta put it all out there because someone might be
Fine,
listening.
Dad.
Someone might be
Sorry.
listening for the first time and be like, "Oh, I forgot about that title." Yeah, okay, but so it might. So we can't be snobs, Nicholas. That's not why we do
Wow.
the show. We can't be
Okay.
snobs.
All right.
Okay. All
Fine.
right. So now you just made
Okay.
me look stupid,
No,
and
it's
I
my
don't
fault.
appreciate that. So cut the shit. Number 1, Damage Control, number 1, written by Hans Rodnoff and Adam F. Goldberg, artist by J.P. Fosgate.
Yes. And
Yes.
Adam F. Goldberg is from like the TV Goldbergs. And I tell
Yeah.
you what, I'm interested in this because you got like a weird ass team going here. We got Moon Knight, we got She Hulk, we got Nightcrawler. I'll tell you what, right now, Moon Knight and Nightcrawler, 2 characters I look at, it's just in the history of Marvel, they just do not get a fair shake. So I'm definitely interested in giving this one a shot. I don't know if this is I don't think this is a one, excuse me, a one-off. Looking at the synopsis, it's a big ass synopsis, so I'm not going to read it to you guys. But I'm interested in this, just those 2 characters alone.
All you, bro. All you.
Okay,
All
thanks.
right.
DC, we got Detective Comics 1063. That's gonna be the second issue for Ron V, right?
Correct. And
Uh,
Spurrier.
right. And then Action Comics 1046, Robin 17. What?
That's the finale, by the way.
Oh, 17. Oh yeah, okay, you
Yeah.
can do the issues. Yeah, okay. That's just wild when you've been doing 6 issue arcs. Wow. Williamson's
Yeah.
called crap. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fucking horse shit.
I mean, damn,
And like
that's tough.
in issue 16, like I just read that and you're gonna end it next issue. Are you fucking me? Like you can run a fucking arc based on what happened last issue alone.
So does it make sense though? Like,
We'll,
does it fit? Does
we'll see
everything no,
how
no,
he
but I'm
does
saying
it.
I'm saying though, but like to this point, like, does it like are you looking at it saying there's no way you can land this plane in one more issue?
I'm gonna be. let's put it this way. I
Hmm.
just said when I read issue 16, I'm expecting a whole new full arc based off what's happened, and now you're telling me it's with the end of issue 16 and it's ending in 17.
Hmm.
Oh, I can't wait to see how he lands the plane, how he ties this up, because like I was expecting so much more.
Yep.
Absolutely. I mean, part of it is like, yeah, it stinks that it's over because I've been
Hmm.
really enjoying it. It's been my surprise book,
Hmm.
for the past year plus. But like, all right, you could definitely keep it going. So we'll see how this fucking thing ends.
That's interesting. Okay. Then we got now again. We when we do these solicits, we're going off the only site that really lays them out for the entirety of the month. Even like Marvel Image, they don't lay them out for the entirety of the month. I do wonder though. Batman White Knight presents Red Hood issue 2. We're gonna get both of them in the same month. That does seem a little surprising. Could happen.
Yeah,
We've seen stranger things
but
happen. Bit odd, isn't it? But anyways,
isn't
we
it?
got Deathstroke Inc. issue 12 and Fables 154. Then we got a couple first issues. I know you want to get into one, but Olympus Rebirth issue 1. The reason I really want to highlight, so writer Becky Cloonan and co-writer actually Michael W. Conrad, but the artist Joe
Yes.
is friend of a friend of the show, Caitlin Yarsky, and making her DC debut. So
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. Happy for her.
Yeah,
Congrats.
yeah. Hats off to her fan because her art is fantastic. It is, and I hope this really helps catapult her because the artwork that she's done for Sean on
Coyote
Bliss
and Bliss.
and Coyote is it's so beautiful and it's so fantastic. The potential for her to take off is huge, and so I'm glad that she's getting a foot in the door at DC. Hopefully, they
Mm,
allow her to do more, and we start reading her name off a hell of a lot more than we have.
yep.
But the book I want to just highlight real quick from this week of DC is Tales of Human Target, #1, written by Tom King, art by Mikael Janin. And essentially, this is sort of a prequel to the Human Target series that Tom King just finished a few months ago, which I enjoyed very much. This is going to be a book sort of leading up to the events of what took place in that last arc. So definitely looking forward to that.
So with the Human Target one, you and I haven't touched base on it at all. Like I know you liked it, but do you think it was TLDR worthy at the end of it all, or maybe we did
No, it
talk
was
about
just a really good book.
it? Okay. Okay.
Maybe it's one of those that I mentioned top 10 books that we didn't talk about on the show. It's like it's living in that space, I think.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
As for Image, I'll take us through Image on this go around. So we got Department of Truth issue 20, Radiant Black 16, the Scorched 9, which I know Sean tweeted about the Scorched 9, so apparently strap in for that one. The Righteous Thirst for Vengeance issue 11. That's the finale. We didn't talk
Yeah.
about that. We're talking about issue 10. I was blown away when we saw at the end of issue 10 that 11 is going to be the fucking final issue. Like,
Yeah,
what?
Rex. I was thinking that was
Yeah.
the
Oh,
fact
yeah,
that it
that could
said
have
to
been.
be
Yep.
continued. I was like,
Yep.
what? Okay.
That could have been the finale too. That absolutely could have been. But I wasn't ready. I wouldn't have been ready for that to be the finale. Like it made
No.
sense for the story, but like I didn't see it
Right.
coming. Public Domain issue 3, which at that point you will be all caught up because Chip has put up all 3 issues on a
Yes.
Substack. He hasn't put up 4, right? The 4th one.
I haven't checked in a bit, but I'll go
Okay.
check. But yeah.
Okay. And then Farmhand issue 20, Rogues Gallery issue 2. That's an important issue for me for Rogues Gallery because it may not decide it's not going to decide if I stay on necessarily, but it may have an impact on whether it's TLDR worthy or not. And then we got, speaking of Rogues Gallery, with Declan Shelby, who's a co-writer on that, we got Declan Shelby's Old Dog issue 1, which is the writer and artist on, and it sounds kind of similar, funny enough, to Garth Ennis's story, which also kind of sounded like like a different spin on what Mark Millar did
Mm.
with King of Spies, which obviously I talked about on the show and absolutely fucking loved. As for Old Dog issue 1, Old Dog follows Jack Lynch, a once promising CIA operative. On the eve of retirement, looking back at a failed career, he is tasked with one final mission that goes horribly wrong. He wakes years later to a changed world with even deeper changes within him. When a shadowy group offers Lynch a second chance for a life of adventure, he finds himself paired with the last person he could ever imagine. In order to adjust, this old dog will have to learn some new tricks. I'm interested in this.
Yeah,
So
it does definitely sound interesting for sure. For sure. For
for
sure. For sure.
show. Now, from Skybound, we got I Hate This Place issue 4, and then Stillwater 15 again. Like we've seen that where like Stillwater comes out twice in a month, I think.
Well,
But
this is a
anyways,
long month too. Yeah.
this is true. Boom.
So boom, we have Grimm number 4. This is so far like this isn't like I said before contention for book of the year for me.
Mm-hmm.
But we get the return of Wind.
That's
We get
right.
Wind, the Throne in the Sky, number 1, written by James Tynion the fourth, art by Michael Dalanias, and this will be the third major arc for this story, which I talked about a while ago now. At this point, but
Yeah.
absolutely love this character, love this world, love this story. So definitely looking forward to that. And then we have Magic, Johnny Goldman, number 1,
Not
and
bad.
then yep, and then from Dark Horse, Nicholas, we have a couple books here. We have Minor Threats number 1, written by your favorite writer Patton Oswalt and Jordan Blum, and
Yep.
art by Scott Hepburn. We have Star Wars Hyperspace Stories number 1, written by Amanda Diebert, with art by Lucas Maragon. And then yet another Hellboy number 1, Hellboy and MRPD 1957, Fearful Symmetry number 1. BRPD. Thank you for the correction on that one.
Sorry about that.
No
So,
worries.
wait, real quick on this Dark Horse stuff. Obviously, Patton Oswalt, I've said, like, I liked him as an actor, but when you started having his comic stuff, at least with the DC stuff he did, I did not like that. It was bad. So I don't think I'm going to give that a look. The Star Wars hyperspace, though, Joe, like that's something that's important to like pay attention to. We get review copies, so maybe we'll take a look at it. But we've talked about it. Like Dark Horse has a chance to really kick some ass with
Oh,
Star Wars.
is this their first book?
I'm pretty.
Is this their first Star Wars title?
This looks like their first one, and it's like labeled as all new, all ages adventure throughout the galaxy. So, I mean, you're centering around like Padme. We got General Grievous in there, Anakin, and Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah, 100% in on this. Because for some reason I was getting the IDW, and I'm like, oh, but I forgot
Yeah.
that Dark
Yep.
Horse, right, is getting a whole bunch of Star Wars stuff. So if this is the first Star Wars book under Dark
Dark
Horse,
Horse.
then yeah, we 100% have to read it. 100%.
Yeah, the only thing is like so off the rip, I'm looking at it and it's like this seems like a kid's thing. Especially when you say all ages, it's like okay, this is a kid's thing. And look, that's fine. I just there is space for some like darker Star Wars stuff somewhere. I'm not saying you're not going to piss people off with it, but I think there's space. We're not getting something.
First book, I think they want to, they just want to throw a nice little meatball right down the middle,
Fair.
right? Because I think you want to get people to say, okay, like, because you can write an all ages story and still have it be really fucking good, right?
Mhm.
So I think it's a good way to say, hey, we've got Star Wars now. Check this out. Get people reading it, and then more titles will start to come out. And I would be stunned if Dark Horse doesn't, do a couple of grittier Star Wars
Yeah.
stories down the road.
I really hope they do. As for IDW, we got TMNT Best of Baxter Stockman issue 1.
Hell yeah, getting that one.
Oh, nice. Star Trek Picard Stargazer issue 1. We're not Star Trek guys, so we don't care. Yeah.
Well, I enjoy Star Trek, but
You're
speak for yourself.
You are?
I enjoy Star Trek. Yes,
I feel like this has happened to us before, and I just fucking forget.
it
But
has. I'm not obsessed,
Mhm.
but I enjoy Star Trek very much.
Okay. Dynamite Samurai Sonya issue 3. Aftershock Bunny Mask The Hollow Inside issue 4. Comixology Barnstormers issue 2. One of the ones you got in the draft.
Yeah, I'm so mad at myself for like being like mildly dismissive of this book when I drafted it. It's fantastic.
I'm very happy for you, so that way you can at least find a way to entertain yourself while I'm reading Canary. And then from AWA, Joe, we got a number 1 coming out on the week of the 24th.
Yeah, by a team I'm not familiar with when it
Mm.
comes to AWAs. This is Emmett number 1, written by Ian Grody, with art by Lee Yishman or Lee Yishan. Sorry. Welcome to Brooklyn through the Looking Glass, where a golem with benefits, a spiraling genie, and a demon who feeds on bad vibes, and a mischievous mermaid collide with heartbroken, hard-living, and hype-obsessed humans. So this, I mean, I'm in. It's AWA number 1. They get the
Yep.
boom number 1 treatment. Like, we read it,
Yep.
we review it, 9 times out of 10, we love it, right? 9.5 times out of 10, we love it. So definitely looking for that. So AWA is, they don't have, we've seen some months where they've had a lot of sort of ongoing things and multiple books per week. This is one of those months where it's just been, okay, we got number one coming out this week and number one coming out that week. So a little bit slower, but quality, 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 quality.
Yep, absolutely. And then we got the week of the 31st
Yeah.
from
Long month.
yep,
Long month.
yep. Go ahead and
So
fly through these.
So Marvel, thanks to Nick's snobbiness, we only have a few titles here. Moon Knight, Black, White, and Blood, number 4. X-Men, number 14. That doesn't seem right, but I feel like I already mentioned X-Men 14. Get your shit together, Nicholas.
It's
Gambit, number
comicsology.
2.
Not me.
Knights of X, number 5. Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings, number 2. First issue was excellent. And then the number 1 we get this week from them is Thunderbolts, number 1, written by Jim Zub, art by Sean Isaacs. And
Maybe.
then what do we got? What do we got from DC, Nicholas?
A lot of annuals from DC this week. Wonder Girl, Harley Quinn, The Flash. But the one that there was a couple of first issues. We got DC Saved by the Bell Reeve issue 1, which I think is more for kids. Looking at the art, Harley Quinn, the animated series, The Real Sidekicks of New Gotham, special issue 1. Obviously building off the show being out right now. Smart move by DC. And then I thought this one would interest you. Superman War World Apocalypse issue 1 by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Will Conrad. Are you in on that?
I'm gonna read it because I got a feeling it's gonna be sort of what catapults Clark returning back to Earth, and then finally putting an end to all this War World nonsense that started, way back in Action Comics and was confusingly put in Future State with no context. But I will give this issue a read, see how it goes. But I'm looking, as much as I love Superman, Son of Kal-El. You could have that story and you can still have Superman back on Earth doing, but who knows? We got to see what this whole Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, goes.
Yeah.
Dark Crisis.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
As for Image that week, it was actually a pretty slower week from them. The only ones that kind of stand out for us as titles were Spawn 333 and the Magic Order 3 issue 2. I got to do that title on the show because I have read the first volume of Magic Order, and I believe that's a Millar book, and that was pretty awesome.
And this is a holiday week, right? So I get why this week's a bit slow because it's leading into Labor Day, isn't it?
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, holidays mean only not that I don't enjoy holidays. They only mean so much to me because working in sports, you just work on fucking all of them.
Brag.
Is that a brag? I think it's not a brag at all. Like I hate that. Anyways, boom, we got House of Slaughter issue 8, and then another Power Rangers Unlimited. This is Power Rangers Unlimited, the Death Ranger issue 1, which I'm naturally going to be interested in. This is written by Paul Allor and Catherine Lobo, so I might give this one a look. Leading up to
Death Ranger number 1.
Yeah.
I highlighted this one for you. You didn't have this highlight. I highlighted for you because the Death Ranger, at least on the cover of this book, looks fucking sick.
Yep. But they were doing, I got to do a little research before this. Obviously, we got a little time for it, but they were doing Power Ranger Unlimited, doing an origin story for a different Ranger. I cannot remember who it was, but I read that first issue. I was like, there's too much here. And like, I know Mighty Morphin, and then I know the Omega Rangers are like, they are from Mighty Morphin. So like, I'm interested in that. You go too far beyond that and center too much around those characters, like you're gonna lose me. Like that's where like, the Omega Rangers, like you're bringing in like some of these Space Rangers, and it works because you have Jason, Zach, and Trini. But when you go too far outside of that, I don't know. But Death Ranger does look badass, so I'm gonna do some research.
Sounds badass too.
Yes, sounds badass. Yeah, I'm interested in it for sure. Joe, you want to take us through these last few indie titles we got left for the week of the 31st?
Country Roads, take me home, baby. Dark Horse, we have Breakout number 3. IDW, we have Transformers Shattered Glass 2, number 1. AWA, I believe we have the conclusion to the Joneses. The Joneses, number 5. And we have Devil's Highway, number 4. Vault Mindset, number 3. Dynamite, Red Sonja. Beautiful spelling on that, by the way. Number 12. And from Comixology, we have the All-Nighter, number 9.
Listen, pal, you could have let that one go.
Sajna. Dread Sajna.
How many fucking typos do you make? And you fucking get on me where you were fine. It wouldn't have mattered. It's one thing if it fucks you up. God, what a dick you are. Unbelievable. This is why we can't have nice things. Anyways, I'll tell you what, everybody. I hope this was what you guys needed to break up your week. I needed it for me. This was like just been a lot of craziness going on for me as I moved crossing state lines and different stuff. So thank you, Joe, for being the
Bienvenue.
good friend that you are. Yes. What?
Bienvenue.
Huh?
Bienvenue. You're moving to New Hampshire. Learn the fucking signs, Bri.
All right. Well,
Welcome to New Hampshire. Bienvenue. Come on,
keep
you're
your
a New Hampshire
peepers
guy now.
popped and stay sexy until next week, Joe.
Yeah, you know it. You're moving to New Hampshire. You should know, right? Live for